Hello, so today I'm doing a video that is going to be about the first episode of the second season of the show, Pose.
She's got the look of a model, but the walk of a duck. Alright, I think eight.
Now, firstly, what I want to say was, I started watching it last year, a little bit after it came out, because I forgot to watch it when it came out last year, and then I watched it back in like July of last year, and I think it came out in June of last year, so in like July I finally watched it. And I thought it was good enough, thought it was decent enough, thought it could have been like a one-off show. But then they were like, there's going to be a season 2. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll watch season 2. And I really only watched it because, I mean, I had nothing else to do. And I was like, I ran out of stuff to watch. So why don't I find something to watch? Might be cool, might be fun. I liked the songs, liked some of the characters, thought it was a decent show, whatever. So now we move on to season 2. And I was like, this show is really not gonna last. I can tell, like, this show is, it's just really not gonna last. And not only because, like, some of the actors' problematic behavior that we shan't speak of, but also because it's gonna get stuck in a hole, you know? And it's not gonna, you know, progress at all. And this, I don't see it going past, like, season 2. I don't see a season 3. I mean, it's not looking bright, but we'll see. We'll see. So anyways, when the episode is first opening, we have Blanca and Pretel, and they're on a boat going to this place to see one of their friends, I guess, that died. And they were like, where's the casket, blah, 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 blah. And the lady at the place is basically just like, there's unmarked graves everywhere, whatever, bye. And the thing is, the graves were unmarked because they're like, these people have AIDS, and they didn't want them spreading the disease to everybody. And she's like, and Blanca is like, but they're already dead, who cares? And the lady is like, whatever, nobody cares.
Infants are out back in Potter's Field. We quarantined the ones that died of AIDS. Don't want them infecting anyone else, you know.
But they're already dead.
Sweetie, we don't know how this thing is spread.
And I'm like, the thing is, because I have a certification in the prevention of bloodborne pathogens, which a lot of people may not know. But anyways, in that training, they teach you, obviously, about AIDS and hepatitis and HIV and all this stuff. And I said, I think the thing a lot of people don't realize is it's not an airborne disease, and it's not like the typical disease. It's not like Ebola. Like, you can't catch it in the same way you catch other stuff, like the flu. Like, if somebody has it, and they just walk past you, whatever, you're not really gonna catch it like that. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. You would have to come into contact, like, with their blood or some sort of fluid or something like that. But, like, regular everyday things, you're not gonna catch from them. But, like, if somebody has, like, AIDS and they're not being treated, and you have, like, a cold or something, that could be detrimental. People, it's like when people are put in isolation rooms at the hospital, you're more detrimental to them than they are to you, because you bringing all your germs in there is actually more likely to kill them than they are to kill you, which I think a lot of people don't realize. But yeah, so they teach you that in the little certification class. And I was like, I don't think a lot of people realize, like, hepatitis and stuff can lead to, like, liver cancer. I think it's hepatitis C, which leads to liver cancer, which could also be, which they said is also kind of sort of linked to HIV/AIDS. So a lot of people get cancer from that. And yeah, that's basically just my little explanation on, like, what it is, in case people don't know. So anyway, she tells them about that, and I'm like, at the time people didn't know, because they thought it was, they called it the plague because they thought it was like the bubonic plague, but it's not even the same thing on any sense. But anyways, moving on. So they do that, and they're like, we can't just keep letting people die, blah, 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 blah. And then I think it goes to Blanca at the hospital. And I remember this, like, last year, in the last season, they had her going in and out to the hospital. I think they diagnosed her last year. But in this, the lady was like, we have to move your diagnosis from HIV to AIDS because your T levels, I think she said, have dropped, and, or T cells, something like that. And you don't have enough, basically, white blood cells. I think it's white blood cells that stop the disease. I think, anyways, she didn't have enough, and they were like, basically, you're dying. And we have this medicine that we can use to stall the process, but we can't, like, completely save you, basically. My thing is, why, not that it's not an important topic, but here's the thing. This is a trend in Ryan Murphy movies and shows. At some point, you can expect a PSA, I guess you could say, about AIDS, because they did it in Glee, they did it in kind of of did it in American Crime Story. They did it in Pose, obviously. I think I don't know if there's anything about it in like American Horror Story, but there might be. There's A Normal Heart, and there's all these shows, and I'm like, of course it's an important discussion to have and an important topic to open up, but I'm just like, it's in every single thing. Like, we get it. We get the point. It's serious. It's a real problem, but there's treatments and things and stuff that are, you know, available now. Not that it's not as bad, but there's more things available now, and people are trying to understand and do all this stuff. So anyways, yeah, so they do that, and I think it goes to, either it goes to, Angel at the piers, and Blanca is like, why are you at the piers? You said you weren't going to do this anymore. And I was like, this reminds me, like, what happened to Stan? Because, like, I don't know if they're going to bring Evan Peters back, because that's kind of one of the reasons I watched it in the first place. But I'm like, is his character just going to be non-existent for the rest of all time? Like, and it's only the first episode, so whatever, but anyways.
Mommy's gonna go now, okay? No, don't. You'll mess up my makeup.
Seems a shame to waste all that work on a girls' night out.
So she's like, you said you weren't going to do this anymore, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, come with me. I found something. I found a thing while I was at work, and we're going to go to a modeling contract, whatever. And the thing is, I thought, I feel like this episode would have been so much better if the previews didn't basically show you the whole episode. Like, the previews showed too much, because I already knew what this was going to do, and I'm like, this could have been previews for like the 5th, 6th, and 7th episode, that would have been fine, but these were all for the first episode. Every preview, everything happens in the first episode, and I'm just like, okay. And the thing is, like, not that it's not as good or whatever, I like that they kept the intro, though that might just be for the first episode, but they're trying to make it more like a serious, gritty type show, I guess, which I guess it was supposed to be kind of in the first part, but I don't know, this episode was just kind of meh for me, but it might improve as the episodes go on, I don't know. But, yeah, so she goes to the modeling place, and they're taking from the movie Paris is Burning, when they went to the little modeling place. So she does that, and she goes, and the lady's like, oh, I like you, I like your pictures, but you're gonna need to take more, professional pictures. So she goes, and she gets these pictures taken, but the man ends up being a pervert, but I'm like, they already kind of showed that in the preview, so they kind of messed it up. But he's like, I want to see you this and this and this, and he basically exposes her, makes her take all these dirty pictures, whatever. And so Blanca and Poppy, they come and they beat up the man, and they take the pictures back, basically, because they're mad that he basically tried to do these exploitation pictures, and what ends up happening is that Angel ends up getting into the competition and going on to the next round, which I guess we'll see in the next episode. But, so what happens, I think, before that is that Pray Tell gets involved with these people at this meeting, and with the ACT UP movement, and I'm like, ACT UP was about AIDS, because I didn't know that, but apparently it was, but I'm like, I didn't know that. I've done a lot of research about a lot of different things, and I've seen the ACT UP movement pop up here and there, but I don't know if, like, you know, but anyway, so they stage a die-in at a church, and I'm like, the thing is, they make it seem like, in the show, or maybe even in the real life, like, a lot of people, I feel like, go wrong in protesting when they go somewhere with their protest and, like, cause a scene, because it's like, you're like, they did this and this and this to us, but I'm like, no, you kind of sort of did it to yourself, because nobody told you to go out there and do that, you know what I mean? Like, nobody told you to cause all these dramatics, to make the people call the police and make you leave. Like, you could have just, I don't know, just did something else, you know what I mean? It's like in The Normal Heart, the man goes and makes a scene, like, at the White House and does all this extra stuff, and it's like, the president doesn't care about us, these people don't care about us, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, the thing is, if you go in people's faces yelling and screaming, like, who is gonna do anything? And the thing is, like, why don't you do, like, what Harvey Milk did? Why don't you run for Congress? Why don't you do all this extra stuff? And I know people are like, oh, no, the opportunity wasn't there, blah, 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 but make the opportunity is the thing. Like, join your local city council, do all this extra stuff, like, you can do whatever, but you don't have to do these, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's sheeple, you know what I mean? The same way, like, when people, it's like, the presidency. Like when Donald Trump got elected, all these people were like, oh my gosh, one. And I'm like, he's not any better or worse than any other president that there was before. So I don't know why people were doing the most. And I'm like, just as I thought when he became president, I was like, nothing changed. So I don't know why people were making a big giant deal. I'm like, it's not that deep. I mean, and you know, not saying that these issues don't matter, that it's not as whatever, but I'm just saying I think people go about this stuff in the wrong way, and a lot of people go about it for the wrong reasons. Like, if you truly are affected by an issue, you truly believe in that, then do that. But don't just go do something because you see people doing it and you think, oh, this is a cause I have to stand up and be a warrior and fight for, because no, you don't. Now you're just a sheep. So basically, people are sheeple. And yes, I got... My history teacher hated when I said people are sheeple, but they are. And a lot of these movements are based off the back of people being sheeple. But anyway, so that's what happens kind of in this first episode. We see Pray Tell get mad at Electra because she doesn't go to the meeting, because she's like, I don't need to go there to prove this and this and this. And I'm like, you really don't, because I've never been the type of person to let people force me to do something. And I'm just like... You shouldn't do something if you don't believe in that, because then that's just being fake. You know what I mean? And it's like, you shouldn't let people force you into something that you don't want to do. And I was like, I truly stand behind that. And I like her in this season, kind of standing up for herself, being like, I don't have to explain anything to you people because this and this and this. Because it's like, yeah, you shouldn't have to, you know, put up with that, you know? And also, I like that they're attempting to include Lamar and Cubby more in this season.
In 1970, pop, spin, dip was introduced right here on the ballroom floor.
So I think that'd be really good to see, because the boy who plays Lamar, he actually came... It's funny because I was at my school. I go to this like weird school. Technically, I don't go there anymore because I'm graduating, but that's not the point. Anyways. So, they did a performance at, the school I go to, kind of like around the area, so that was cool to see, and whatnot. So, I like that they're incorporating them two more into the show this season. So, yeah, that's basically just my thoughts kind of on this first episode. If I forgot some stuff, then oh well. Yeah, but we'll see where they go with the show, and, yeah, so that's basically my thoughts. So I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.